Hello and welcome back to Decisive Squirrel Homestead. It has been about 2 weeks since we did our first tour of the garden, and there's a lot of things happening in there. So the fruit trees all look the same, but we're going to go through the main part of the garden and look at the tomatoes and the squash and the beans and all the things that are starting to set fruit. So let's head out to the garden. Neighbors are still doing remodeling. I think they're sanding inside the house today. Hopefully that's not too loud and messing up the audio. We'll see how that goes. We are going to start over here at the Hugelkultur. So first up here on our Hugelkultur bed, we have our pumpkins down at the end that are doing maybe a little too well. They're kind of trying to take over. I think the corn is going to beat them out, but you can see maybe there the vine is going all the way to the middle of the bed. So the pumpkins down on this other end, I'm going to let vine out into the yard. I'm not going to put them up between the corn because I think these that started earlier are going to do just fine on their own. You can probably see back in there, we have one of our first pumpkin female blooms that opened today. There are some other ones. There's one hiding back here. These are big jack-o'-lantern pumpkins to be fun for the kids, so hopefully they produce. The glass gem corn, some of it has purple veins on the leaves. I didn't know that was going to happen, and it's not on every plant, so kind of interesting, but also pretty. Some of them have just a little bit, some of them have quite a lot, some of them have none. It's kind of weird. There is no purple veining on just the plain sweet corn though. Down here on the end, some of the yellow squash are starting to make fruit. We have one hiding down there. We are getting this weird yellow-green hybrid thing going on. Let's see if you can see that one down in there. There is a fruit that exists that's part green and part yellow, but that is not the seed I bought. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with those. I don't know how that happened. Yes, my squash plants are still too close together. I think I'm going to get a couple of squash and zucchini from the ones that I'm going to pull out before I pull them out. Down here, more of these yellow squash are taking off. We'll be harvesting those real soon. They grow really fast. So probably early next week. The zucchinis are doing good too. They just are a little bit further behind. But you can see one starting in there. I don't think any of the female zucchinis have bloomed yet. Oh, I lied. There's one that opened up today. You can see back in there. So that's all the squash and corn. Back here on our first bed, our purple cabbages were kind of behind last time I did a tour, but they have started to make cabbage heads down in here. You can feel a little tiny cabbage head getting started. So we'll have those really soon. Don't know what we're going to do with all of them. We have started harvesting some of this green cabbage. It has good heads on it now, so we've had fried cabbage. One got damaged by the hailstorm, so we fed it to the chickens. The beets that are here are starting to really leaf out and finally do well. The onions are getting huge. Our other green cabbages down here, they're a different variety. They are starting to make a head also. You can see this is a big one that's doing really good. I think maybe we'll make sauerkraut soon, and we will make a video for that for y'all. Down here on the other side of the bed, there are so many tomatoes. We are going to be canning and freeze drying all sorts of tomato things. Salsa, spaghetti sauce, diced tomatoes, all of the tomato things, because we are going to have so many tomatoes. I guess that's what happens when you plant 86 plants. These aromas here, look at all of these tomatoes. Lots and lots, that's just one plant. Most of them have more than one bunch going now. Here are more aromas. We have tons of tomatoes coming out already. These are Cherokee purples down here. That's also going to be an awful lot of tomato. Down here on bed 2, these are San Marzanos. They're kind of like aroma. They're another paste tomato. So again, lots and lots of tomatoes on the plants. There's a big bunch. But all of these plants have tomatoes like that are going to be ripening pretty soon. In a couple of weeks, we'll be living in the kitchen trying to preserve all of this. I did start to tie up these plants. It's like wire covered in foam. You can reuse it over and over again. It's basically like a twist tie that won't hurt the plant. So we've had to start doing that to keep these guys under control. More tomatoes and more tomatoes and more tomatoes. They are just everywhere, which is good. That was the point. But man, are we going to be busy in a couple of weeks. These onions down the middle here are ginormous. These things are huge. That's just a huge, huge onion. They're still putting out new growth in the middle here. They are really happy in their spot back in there. And then we have even more tomatoes. All of these plants have set fruit. I don't think there's a single plant that does not have tomatoes in it. Get into our cherry tomatoes here. Those are also real happy. They have lots of clusters on them. These are yellow pear tomatoes. It's another kind of cherry tomato. Our white tomatoes that went in later have started to put out flower buds. Oh no, this one's set fruit. So here's our first little white tomato. Another one. So those are doing well. That'll be interesting. I'm curious what those are going to taste like. And then our blue tomatoes down here are doing really good too. In the middle of this row, we have cantaloupes that just aren't super happy. They're trying to bloom, but I think they're desperate to get some pollen out into the world because they're worried they might die. They're not doing great, but I think they'll settle in and catch up. Over here on the other side, we have watermelons, kind of the same story, but they're doing a little bit better. They're starting to vine out and thinking about climbing our trellis here. Further up the row, we have watermelons that are a little bit happier. So this guy's starting to climb. This guy needs to climb. Give him a little help there, show him where it is. And this one also needs to be up here on the trellis. But they're doing pretty good. Cantaloupes, not so much. I'm not sure if they're gonna really take off or not. Brussels sprouts are doing their Brussels sprout thing. You can see the tiny little sprouts down there at the base of the leaves. Those have not really grown a whole lot, so I don't know if we'll get any of those or not. More watermelons. Oh, this watermelon's blooming. Those are all, yes, those are all boy blooms though, no females yet, so no fruit yet. Over here on the next row, we have some cucumbers that aren't real happy. This end of this bed, this area is just not as good for some reason. We still aren't really sure why that is. But the peas are going crazy. We've had peas for dinner one night, and we need to again because they are getting ready to pick. We've probably got one more dinner worth. There's a caterpillar eating my leaf. No. Hey dude, let's go somewhere else. The beans, some of the beans, the provider beans have started to bloom and have started to set fruit. You can see those purple flowers in there. Those are provider beans. And there's some little baby beans in there. You can see that. More peas, peas everywhere. Big healthy peas ready to pick. We're on this side, we have carrots are finally doing really well. Back here in the middle, those were slow to start. I don't know why that was either. Apparently I dropped some seed outside of the bed because that is a carrot also. Pea plants are getting really tall. They're probably about 4 feet tall. Some of them are even more than that at this point. But they're really climbing up our cattle panels here. Probably saw our pickle making video, but our pickling cucumbers have more fruit here. I was kind of hoping I was going to get more at one time because I have a friend that makes pickles to sell in the grocery store, but I don't think there's enough to help her out with that right now. But there are plenty for us to do a few jars of pickles just for our house though. Some of these beans are starting to really take off on climbing our cattle panel. Once they grab on, they spiral on around and pull themselves up. Some more baby beans on this plant right here. Little itty bitty ones. All of this row is more of the same. Oh, there's a cucumber hanging out. What are these guys doing? Why are we not over here? The wind must have blown them off. They weren't holding on very well yet, I guess. So that's one of my favorite rows because the cattle panel is getting pretty covered. I'm hoping those peas or maybe the beans grow all the way up over the top because it'll just look cool. Down this row, we have all of our black-eyed peas coming up. Our edamames have set fruit. You can probably see, if it'll focus, you can see little edamame pods back there. Here are a couple of edamame pods. Those just produce once, all at one time, and then they're done. So this isn't a ton of plants, and we have a lot of people that like edamame in our family. So we might just have 1 or 2 meals of edamame out of these, but that's okay. Those black-eyed peas, the purple-hulled peas, are doing really good. Some of them are starting to put out second leaves, so they're settling in really nicely. Over here on the other side, Our peppers are also starting to set fruit. The younger ones are just starting to bloom. The older ones have bloomed and the fruit has started to set up. You can't really see any jalapenos very good. Don't think any of them are very big yet. Over here we have cayenne peppers though, and those are a little bit bigger. Here's one that's really coming along. So those are all happy. Up at the end of this row we also have bell peppers. Let's see. Probably down here on this end is where they're at. There's some blooms that are coming out. Let's see on this bunch. These got planted first. There we go. There's a nice bell pepper. We are going to have tons and tons of bell peppers. They're really good for our guinea pigs. They have a lot of vitamin C, and guinea pigs need vitamin C to stay healthy. So a lot of them will go to our guinea pigs, and a lot of them will be freeze dried so that they can be used in the future. So that is how our garden is doing right now. 2 weeks makes a ton of difference in the spring. Everything really greens up and grows. It almost feels like every day when you come out, everything is a lot bigger. Everything is doing really well so far. We haven't had any pest issues. We haven't had any real disease issues at this point. So crossing our fingers that stays that way to some extent. And we get lots of food out of here. That's all for today. We'll see y'all later. Bye.